This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Planning and Zoning for Monday, December 2nd, 2024. My name is Vern Carlson, and I'm the chairman of the commission. We have an interesting agenda tonight, as you all know, I'm sure. And I'm just going to get started here to clean up the agenda and get things in order. With that being said, let me introduce out to my extreme right is Andy Bevilacqua. He is our town engineer. Next to him is Alan Fredrickson. He's our land use administrator. To my extreme left is Catania, and she is our court reporter. Next to her is Christine Hilton. She is our staff secretary. With that,
I'm Ken Quick, regular member.
Ron Williams, regular member.
Paul Wyman, Vice Chair.
Brian Cummings, Secretary.
Mark Reese, alternate.
and Mark will be sitting on the first agenda tonight that we have, number one, and after that is done with, then he'll be coming off, and Ken will be coming back in as the regular meeting. With that, Alan, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we do. Item number 2, application P2421S, and item number 5, P24-21, are postponed to the next meeting, which should be held on the 6th of January. That's all.
Okay, that's it? Okay. So if anybody's here for Quinnipiac Avenue, certainly you know it's not going to be heard tonight. With that being said, I want to just go over a couple things before we get going with the meeting. This is a continuation of what we had last month, and the only one that's going to speak here tonight in respect to this application is Bernie Pellegrino. He is going to have his comments to your comments, and there is no more comments after that whatsoever. And then I believe we're going to try to go into deliberation after we deal with this first application. So if you folks do want to leave, you don't have to wait all night to see how the commission votes. So if that's that being said, Alan, Brian, would you read the call of the first public hearing, please?
Sure, this is P24-14S, continuation of the special permit application of Quinnipiac University, applicant and owner relative to 5100 and 5110 Ridge Road, map 97, lots 2 and 3, plan entitled Quinnipiac University, Hamden, Connecticut Education Center, 5100 and 5110 Ridge Road, North Haven, Connecticut, prepared by Nathan L. Jacobson and Associates, dated May 22nd, 2024, Rev. October 21st, 2024, scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, R40 zoning district. Before Mr. Chairman, I was not here last month, but I did review all the documents, and I did watch the video, and I think that will...
Okay. So Brian missed the meeting last month, but he has reviewed everything. So it's just as though he was here. He is back sitting in his normal seat, and be acting as secretary, and he will be in on the meeting tonight. Okay. With that being said, I'm sorry.
Want to bring the site plan?
The which one?
Read the site.
Yeah. We're going to read. I'm going to have him read the site plan in only because there's so many people here in respect to this application.
Okay, this is the site plan, P24-14. Continuation of the site plan application of Quinnipiac University, applicant and owner, relative to 5100 and 5110 Ridge Road, map 97, lots 2 and 3, plan entitled Quinnipiac University, Hamden, Connecticut Education Center, 5100 and 5110 Ridge Road, North Haven, Connecticut, prepared by Nathan L. Jacobson and Associates, dated May 22nd, 2024, revised October 21st, 2024, scale, 1 inch equals 20 feet, R40 zoning district.
Okay, with that being said, thank you very much, Brian. Bernie, the floor is yours at this point.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Bernard Pellegrino. I'm an attorney with the Pellegrino Law Firm. I represent the applicant, Quinnipiac University. I'm joined by Mr. Filardi, Ms. Zemba, and other members of the university's administration who are here this evening in regard to our applications. Tonight, I appreciate the opportunity on behalf of the applicant to provide rebuttal comments to the testimony that was raised at last month's public hearing. In preparing my comments for this evening, I've paid careful attention to, and I do not believe that I will bring up any new information that would require you to reopen the public hearing to members of the public. So, as we discussed at the end of last month's meeting, I do intend to provide our counterposition or rebuttal to those issues that were presented last month that are relevant also to your consideration in determining tonight's application. I think there were issues raised that were irrelevant, not part of your review, and I'm not going to address those. But I'm going to address the things that I think is important to your decision-making process on both the special permit and the site plan. And I wanted to start with the use and the zoning classification and the plan of conservation and development. So to be clear, educational uses are permitted at this property and in this zone. Educational and residential uses have coexisted in North Haven in the same zone since you enacted zoning regulations. The university has been an important part of this particular neighborhood since it arrived in Hamden in 1966. And a portion of the Mount Carmel campus property actually abuts the property in question. So the university has been in this area for nearly 50 years, and it has been, as I say, an important part and a contributing property owner to the neighborhood. So Chapter 2 of your Plan of Conservation and Development is entitled Land Use and Zoning. And I think as you look at the Plan of Conservation and Development and its applicability to present application, that's the most important issue in the POCD, I think. The plan discusses both the present and future uses of properties throughout the town, and it classifies certain properties with certain uses. And the existing land use map at page 14 of the POCD clearly identifies this site as an institutional use site. And it defines at page 13 institutional uses to include churches. And that makes sense because the property had been used as a church dating back until 1985. Okay? That same section of the Plan of Conservation and Development classifies universities as institutional uses. The future land use map that's in the plan, what do we want our properties to be used as in the future? I think if you look at page, the map, the future land use map is at page 65. And the land use map, by its definition, graphically illustrates, amongst other things, your vision for specific types of redevelopment or reuse of properties in town. In the future land use map, what your vision was for this property in the future is institutional. Okay? So the argument that this application and the proposed use by a university to conduct and institutional use on the property is not compliant with the POCD is factually flawed. And so therefore, you can, I believe, you can check the box on the special permit criteria that we do in fact meet and are in conformity with the plan of conservation and development. Our revised plan, I wanted to talk about that a little bit because there were some issues raised about it last time. I think in response to the comments and concerns raised at the first hearing by members of the public, some questions you all had about the expansion to the building and the number of parking spaces, I think we were responsive to those concerns. I think, unlike some of the criticism that we got last month, we were responsive. And we eliminate the building addition, and we eliminated more than half of the proposed parking spaces that were in the first plan. So we did that in response to comments in an effort to be responsive to the concerns of people who live in that area. We believe that the site is ideal for the use and the programmatic goals of our lifelong learning center. It's serene, reflective, and a retreat-like atmosphere is the reason the location was selected and will foster an ideal, quiet environment for professional learning and personal development for people who are using the Lifelong Learning Center for that purpose. We believe the ability to utilize the property for this use and being able to put our attendees into that type of an environment is ideal for the site and for the program. A large percentage of the testimony that we heard from the public centered around traffic safety last month. Expert testimony was presented by both sides. The experts agreed on some things and they disagreed on others. Common in our world, right? And we also heard from Chief Glenn on the issue of traffic and public safety. One issue that was raised is this would bring too much traffic to the neighborhood. Traffic volume, if you will. Both experts agreed that traffic volume generated by this proposal would not impact traffic volume and levels of service at these intersections. So I think the concerns about traffic volume were overstated. And I think Chief Glenn agreed. He says in his letter, the increased traffic is negligible. And that's the letter you received last week from him. So that was one issue on traffic. Traffic safety on the roads was the other issue. It's going to be dangerous. Both experts, however, found very little evidence of traffic accidents in the neighborhood. They both looked, obviously, town has records. There was like 6 at the intersection of Ridge and Mount Carmel over the past 5 years, I think, 4 years, excuse me. And there were no reported accidents on the section between Mount Carmel and Blue Hills on Ridge Road. Chief Glenn agreed. He says, very minimal added signage on Mount Carmel and Ridge Road will satisfy any traffic concerns. And he concluded that in his professional opinion, he did not believe this project will create an adverse traffic situation in the proposed area. So you can throw out both experts if you want, but the good news, I think, if you're conflicted on traffic, is Chief Glenn, who's been a member of the department for 20 years and is familiar with the site, more familiar than either expert, is saying to you that he does not believe that traffic will have an adverse effect. Obviously, he was appreciative of the reduction in the project scope, which meant that only 50, not 100 cars in the worst-case scenario would be traveling. I think that goes a long way and should go a long way toward your thoughts on the issue of traffic, which was, as I said, perhaps the number one criticism that neighbors have raised. A couple of technical ones I just wanted to rebut. There was a number of people who said Section 8-3C of the Connecticut General Statutes would not permit you to be able to vote on this application because you had not received a report from the Hamden Wetlands Commission. And our position is that is not the case. The only referral application that is relevant to you under the statute is the one from your own Inland Wetlands Commission, which you have received a favorable referral, and we have received approval to conduct the regulated activity in regard to this project. And I would add, because I think someone said, well, that was the original plan and not the revised scope plan. Well, the regulated activities for the Wetlands Commission did not change between the original plan and the revised scope plan. Those regulated activities are all the same, and they were approved. The only Hamden application is only relevant to our being able to conduct regulated activity within their upland review area that encompasses a portion of this site. There's no referral application coming from Hamden's wetlands because there is no planning and zoning application in Hamden. And just for the record, the Hamden application was denied without prejudice for us to come back with the reduced scope plan, which has already been filed. Someone said that this application in front of you is a new application and you should start all over, deny this apparently, and start all over again. And that's not the case. I think I think we would all agree that it's more common than not that you originally receive an application with a plan and that over the course of the public hearing or the review process, even during a site plan review, there are changes that you would like to see to the application, and the applicant revises the plan and comes back within the course of the public hearing with revisions, and ultimately the plan is approved or the plan is denied. But I would disagree with people who stated that this is a brand new application. I think that this application, as it currently is situated, is clearly within your authority to act on, especially because the application was actually reduced in scope and not expanded in scope. Despite some of the claims from some of the speakers at the last month's hearing. And as those of you who were here when there was a prior application presented to you and denied to do an upper school and a high school on this site, claims that our application is far more intense than what was proposed and denied by the previous school application is just not the case. The size and intensity of that application and the expansion of footprint on the property at over, I think it was 10,000 feet as compared to this application, which now shows no increase to the building footprint, on the site is, our application pales in comparison. I would submit to that application. Impact on property values was another issue that we wanted to give you our thoughts on. Our position is that a vacant, abandoned building, which has not been used for probably close to 10 years, far more detracts from the value of properties in that neighborhood than anything we are proposing. We believe that the investment we are prepared to make on this site will have a positive impact on property values. It's a sustainable project using the existing building rather than a knockdown. The enhanced facade to the tired old church building will clearly be an aesthetic improvement. The complete renovation and upgrades to the interior of the building will also improve the value of that building and, we think, provide relief from what is there today and will have a positive impact on values of neighboring properties. The upgraded stormwater management system on that site, where currently none exists, will be a huge improvement to the infrastructure at that site. A new lighting plan. Right now there's a big spotlight on one 40-foot pole. With night sky fixtures on 16-foot poles that will be on timers and cut off when the building is no longer in use at the end of the evening will also be an improvement to the site. And the robust planting plan that utilizes native species handpicked to assimilate and enhance the existing site vegetation will also improve the aesthetic and functioning value of that property with the neighboring wetlands. So all of these things, which we are prepared and have proposed to do on the site, we believe will take a vacant, abandoned building that hasn't been used for almost 10 years and revitalize it. And that will have a positive impact on the neighborhood. I also wanted to kind of remind us all that the university has been part of this neighborhood, as I mentioned earlier, for more than 50 years. So it's not like the neighborhood, we're introducing a new use into that neighborhood. The university use, the main campus abuts this property and many of the properties of the neighbors who testified against the project. So they've been living, and the property values, based on my review of the grand list, thriving in that neighborhood with the university as a neighbor to them today. And those uses taking place all around them. And the introduction and the approval of this site, as I said earlier, is not the introduction of a new use. It's part and parcel of the existing use which they are living and have been living among since they bought their properties. I also looked at, after he testified, the submission of the gentleman who testified as an appraiser. And I don't know if you've looked at that report, but there's no empirical data contained in that report that supports the 15% reduction in property values that I think he just picked out of the clear blue sky. And I think that report is and should be totally disregarded. It has no merit and no substance behind it. So, in conclusion, unless you have any questions for me so far, and as I've previously stated, we are confident that this location is the right choice for the new education center. It's a use permitted in the zone. It's a proposal that is in accord with your plan of conservation and development. The site is an ideal, quiet environment for adult, professional learning, and personal development. The traffic safety concerns that were raised at the last meeting were, I believe, overstated, and I think Chief Glenn would also agree, confirming that he doesn't believe there would be any traffic safety issues created in the area by this proposal. The programming that the center will conduct will be instrumental in advancing workforce development, directly supporting the town and the state of Connecticut goals for economic growth and skill enhancement. We appreciate that a group of neighbors have expressed concern and are hesitant about any use for the proposed site. However, we think that with the revised plan, which is a significant reduction in the scope of the project, was responsive to the concerns that were expressed about increasing the size of the building and the parking area and the number of cars that would be in the lot, and that those adjustments represented a sacrifice by the university and reflect the university's commitment to addressing community concerns and ensuring that the center integrates itself with the neighborhood. For all of those reasons, we submit that the project meets your special permit criteria. It will be an important asset for our community. It'll provide greater opportunities for professional growth that will contribute to the broader economic landscape, and we would respectfully ask that you act favorably upon our applications. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bernie. Well said. I have just a few words to say in respect to this application. And I listened to what Bernie said very closely, and I made some notes about it.
Or are you going to close the public hearing, or are you intending that the public hearing remain open?
No. I was gonna close it right after my comments and okay. The idea of this particular use is ideal for that property. As I stated before, I thought was a little overdone. I know that you had said that the school thinks it's an ideal place for it. But I think it's going to disrupt the immediate area more so than what certainly meets the eye at the moment for me. I think the traffic is somewhat of a problem for me. I think the cars will be going in and out regularly, not just on a schedule. Despite what Chief Glenn said, you know, you have a small amount of traffic as it stands now. When you double that, or whatever it may be, there's certainly going to be pressure on the road. I think the light poles could be disruptive to the neighborhood. I think it could be on timers. I'm sure it could be figured out so it would not bother anybody, but right now it does bother me somewhat. And I'm really not sure, as there's really enough room for expansion, as was stated by the school. They want to expand this program and double the size, actually, is what was said. And I don't think there's room for it on that site. I think there's many more things I could hit on here, but I have a whole commission here who wants to say a few words on this. Yeah, I'll just let it go at that for the moment. With that, who wants to speak next? Yeah, I'll close the public hearing. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing now, so we're going to be talking in this, I'm sorry?
I want to make a motion to go into,
Yeah, yeah. The public hearing is closed as of now. It is over. Okay, I wanted to say that to get it in there. And now, you want to go right into deliberation on this?
I'd like to make a motion to go into deliberation.
Okay, we're going to go right into deliberation now. I got a motion to go into deliberation. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we are in deliberation. Now, Paul, you want to speak? Or
Let Rod have some points there. Let
you
Rod-
want to speak now?
Sure. I'll speak.
Okay.
So I thought this was actually, I just want to comment for a second about the application and the process, because this to me was unique in some ways. I don't think I've ever seen an applicant change as much, scale back an application as much as this one was scaled back after the first meeting. And I think that's commendable by the applicant and council, because it did seem responsive to the concerns that this commission raised and that the neighbors seem to have. I also, thinking about the testimony of the people, generally speaking, who are opposed to it, was varied more than I normally see. I mean, there's always going to be overlap, but everyone seemed to have, unique things to say. And so I thought that was, made it memorable. It's kind of what these are all about. You know, you look at the use of a proposed use in a neighborhood, and there's the ability for interested people to come out and talk about their thoughts on that. And in that way, the public process has worked, I think, the way it was meant to. And so I like seeing that. So this is an R40 zone. We know it's an R40 zone. That means 40,000 square foot minimum lots, or about an acre each. It's, I think, the intention in this particular northwest corner of town is that it be relatively sparsely populated. And when you think about the fact that there are 25-foot side yard setbacks, that people's houses, the closest they're going to be to their neighbors is 50 feet away, and a lot of them are more. I live in this neighborhood. I've lived there for 16 years. I have a very good sense of the characteristics of the neighborhood and the roads around here and this particular property, which I've driven by a lot. So I think about the expectation of people that will, when they buy property and they're thinking about this part of town, it's in accord with what the ordinance indicates the level of development will be, which is fairly rural, forested, close to Sleeping Giant. Of course, there's a church there, and there's been a church there, and so there's this recognition, of course, that would be there and that would be a use. I think historically, churches, though, are really Sunday activities. And yes, they could have a daycare, and that could probably operate during the day every week, and so you could have things happening every day. But I think if it gets to a certain level of intensity in traffic, they have to come back come back here for a special permit, so that we can consider whether that use is appropriate in the neighborhood. And so, anyone that's I think anyone thinking about buying property here would expect that it maintain the character that it has now. I guess I think about the testimony of the traffic engineer for the opposition, who voiced some of the concerns that I think about when I drive around this neighborhood and have thought about ever since the first application on this property. And you think about the amount of traffic that would be added to the roads, and the lack of accidents seems to me a function of the amount of traffic on the road, because the road right now is being used for the rural purposes that I think that when they were laid out, they were meant to accommodate, and not something that is more intense and commercial in nature. So there's that risk. I'm concerned about the crest on Ridge Road as you approach this property heading towards Sleeping Giant, because you don't really see the driveway until you're right upon it, and so you take that road quickly. If there's increased traffic, it could be a concern and a safety issue. We have to think about traffic safety when we're thinking about these special permits. The intersection, I wasn't surprised that the initial recommendation by the chief of police was to put a stop sign there with the original application. I understand now that it's been scaled back that maybe that's addressed by signs that say intersection approaching, but I always, when I approach that intersection, I'm concerned, and I'm worried about cars coming from my right, from the Wallingford area. Just like at the intersection of Ridge Road and where it meets Mansfield. And that's less of an issue here. I understand a lot of the traffic will come from Mount Carmel, but it's one of those things where you get there and it's okay because there isn't a lot of traffic there, but when you add a certain amount, then I think the danger could increase. So that was compelling to me. I also when I think about people's expectations, I think about what the appraiser for the applicant talked about when he reached in approaching his conclusion about property values going down in the immediate area, immediate neighbors, and then sort of radiating outwards to a lesser degree. That's what I would expect if you come to this neighborhood and purchase a property there with the expectation that's the neighborhood that you're buying into. And when something changes, and it's vacant now, we know, but vacant is, I think, more in line with the solitude that people that live in this area expect than something that is that was proposed here, which I think that would. So I found his testimony compelling about the increase in or the decrease in property values as after this use. I think that's all. Those are my thoughts right now. But it's. I guess my conclusion at this point, I'm just one person, is that this is it's. Though I appreciate it scaled back, it's still not an appropriate use here. It's too intense, and the fact that the Plan of Comprehensive Development envisions institutional use in the future could just be that it envisions the church to stay there, because the church has been there for a long time, and not necessarily that it go to a university use or one that's this intense. I think that there is some language in the Plan of Comprehensive Development that talks about maintaining the rural nature of these roads and the views of Sleeping Giant and whatnot. And so I think that works both ways. But in my mind, it's not something that I feel fits into this neighborhood. That's all I have right now.
Okay.
And I'd like that.
Wait a second,
No.
hold it.
No.
You're not sitting.
No, you can't
This is deliberations. We've got to,
Cannot speak at all.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay. Even though I was
Sorry.
part
You
of
cannot
the
speak at
beginning.
all. No, you can't speak.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
Paul?
Okay, I want to echo what Rod had said. A very good job making your points there, Rod. But biggest thing that sticks out for me is harmony with the neighborhood, and I don't feel that this would be in harmony with the current neighborhood.
Yeah, short.
Yeah,
Good?
I want to compliment Rod for eloquently stating, I think, what I feel on this application. Bernie mentioned that the project is sort of going to be serene and reflective for the people attending. Well, it's serene and reflective for the people in the neighborhood now. And this will be a little bit more of an intense use, and their neighborhood will be less, serene and reflective. Also, it was mentioned that Quinnipiac has been in the neighborhood, hasn't been this close to the neighborhood until the property was gifted to them first. But I think, again, echoing Paul's comment, that this would really affect the charm and the character of that neighborhood in an adverse way. And part of our regulations is 1.1.1, which addresses the general well-being of the town. We can go into further on that, but I don't think it's a good use for this spot. I think, the church has been there for years. We'll see what develops there, but sometimes just developing it because it's there isn't going to be good for a neighborhood. So I would not be in favor of this application.
Mark?
I'm commissioner for about 3 years now. I'm on my fourth year, and this has probably been the most intense for me. I have actually a personal connection. My family lived just down the street from there up until a few years ago. I actually played in the cornfields where the church now stands. It used to be cattle corn all the way down to New Road. I watched this church be constructed. I'm very familiar with the traffic pattern there, growing up there, bicycles. When they brought streetlights in, how that changed the traffic patterns. I just don't see it getting any better. And besides what the consultants say, 50 people a day, 50 cars, even if it's 25 cars, on that sharp curve down there, the hill, the crests of the hill. For those that don't know, it was actually called Seven Sisters because of the 7 lumps going up, and those were created years ago for the actual, because the horses can only go so far and you have to rest. So if you ever ride down the hill and you feel those, they kind of smoothed out. It's a challenging street. I don't think, while the reduction is great, I think the project itself in a different location is wonderful. I just don't think it's a good fit for that neighborhood. And I can't say anything more at this point.
Okay. Very good. Well, I know that in respect to speaking to the university, educational and continuing educational is very good, but just the pressure on that particular neighborhood, I think, is too much. And you heard from all the commissioners here and what they had to say about it. I mean, we could go on and talk about this for some time, but I'm not sure it's necessary. It is a very intense situation that's going on there. It's as I said before, the traffic and all these things, the lifestyle. I think the lifestyle of the neighborhood would be disrupted. The comfort and the quietness of the people that are living there would change dramatically. No downtime because there'll be cars coming and going and there'll be people coming and going. But with that being said, we could go on. It isn't necessary. Rod, do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't, thanks.
Okay. Brian? Okay. Okay, at this point, on the special permit, I'd like to get a motion to deny the special permit.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Okay, I have a motion to deny. I have a second.
I'll make a second.
Okay, Paul makes the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the special permit is denied. Okay, as far as the site plan goes, I'm going to take...
Mr. Chairman, it may be belaboring the obvious, but you had a very lengthy and productive deliberation session such far, so you're denying it for the reasons that were articulated during the course of that.
Correct. I can go over those if you'd
discussion.
like.
I made the motion, I can clarify, yes, for the reasons that we stated in our discussion. That would be the basis for my motion to deny.
I think that's good then. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I did have some reasons to deny the application. The general purpose of the Planning and Zoning Commission the regulations, 1.1.1, as we talked about, is not the purpose of that reg to do something just like this in that neighborhood, as I see it. We talked about to change the character of the neighborhood dramatically. The traffic. We have narrow roads, people walking dogs, people jogging, lack of streetlights, very hilly, up and down. Sight lines are not good anywhere that I can see. I mean, you can put that,
I think you're.
put that in there with the denial on the special permit.
And
I
I
would like,
think Rob's comment was to include all of our comments in that.
That's the way the motion was made, okay?
Okay.
It was clarified, okay?
you have it? Yep, okay. On a special permit? make a
So the
motion.
special permit
We have-
is denied.
We have the motion, we have a second. All in favor? Okay. Okay, moving forward, then we want to take the site plan, which is P24-14. Can I get a motion to deny the site plan?
I'll make a motion to deny the site plan. Same reason.
So Mr. Wyman made the motion to deny the site plan.
Who is seconding it? Okay.
Mr. Parisi
Mark
seconded.
We're just going to get over this and then we're going to stop. Okay.
And
I
your
have a motion.
reason would once again be the absence of a special permit being approved,
Yeah.
and for all the reasons articulated.
You have it. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, for those
Okay,
reasons.
that's it. Okay, folks, we're going to take a break. That's it. Okay, folks, we're back from the break. The room has been cleared, pretty much so. And now, folks, take it outside.
Thank you.
Brian,
Sure, this is,
would you read in the call of P2423S, a special permit,
yes,
public hearing?
this is P24-23S, special permit application of Lakeisha C. Robinson, applicant ECJ Enterprises LLC, owner relative to 140 Washington Avenue, map 73, lot 57, plan entitled Site Plan, Mario Ferrucci, Washington Avenue, Monroe Street, North Haven, Connecticut, prepared by Claire Blair Associates, Incorporated, dated September 24th, 1985, revised April 21st, 1986, scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, CD 20 zoning district.
Okay, Miss, you want to step forward here, get your mic there? That'll go. Step up. That's good.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lakeisha Robinson. I've never done this before, I'm so sorry.
Your address.
Take your time.
So I'm a wine producer, and I am interested in opening up a wine shop. My wine shop is only going to have my brand. I own my own brand of wine. And my business is going to be wine gift baskets. So I'm going to read, actually I should also say that my wine is actually going to be carried in restaurants, well, hotels and steakhouses across the New England area, but I am going to be the only one actually retailing them in gift baskets.
Okay, so this is going to be strictly to come in, they're going to call and order, was that it, or?
Both. I actually have a website, so it's the e-commerce site, so people can go on and purchase through my e-com site and pick up in the store, but they can also come into the store and purchase as well. And the gift baskets are going to be customized to the customer's purpose and their likes.
So this is strictly come in, pick it up and leave?
Yes. Oh, yes, there's no
There's
on-premises drinking.
No tasting of any wine?
No.
Or anything
How about
whatsoever?
deliveries?
No, actually, I'm not
Pick up.
offering delivery at the
Okay.
moment. I offer shipping off of my e-commerce site,
And what's the name of the wine?
Keisha Chanel Wines.
Tisha.
Keisha with a K.
Keisha.
So it's my first middle name.
Keisha?
Yeah, Keisha Chanel Wines.
So if I may,
Okay.
you included with your application materials a copy of your liquor permit from your location on Forest Road in West Haven.
Yes.
And that is the same license that you're seeking for 140 Washington?
Yes, it is. It's just a transfer.
So it shows on that certificate, gift basket retailer. So that's the specific license and it's subject to the limitations thereof.
Yeah, that's, right, that's it. Pacific license just for what you want to do.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
You understand that?
That's the general statute noted on your license.
Yes, it is. Gift baskets.
You've got a store in West Haven at this time, you're planning on closing that and relocating?
Yes.
How long has your store been open in West Haven?
2 years.
And you need approval here before you can get the license transferred, is that right?
Yes, it is. So I haven't even started the process there. Right now, I still have my shop in West Haven, but my license is just on pause right now until I'm able to, like, hopefully everything goes well. And then all I have to do is just send them updated information to the DCP. Yes.
Ken?
I have no questions. I thought it was a great use for North Haven.
Thank
I was
you.
positive.
That was going to be my question. What drew you to North Haven?
The location, and I live in Southington,
Okay.
so it's closer.
Not so important
Okay.
decision, but where is your wine made and bottled?
Napa Valley in
Okay.
Sonoma.
Okay.
I partnered with a vineyard about 1.5 years ago.
Your store in West Haven is doing well?
It's doing pretty good. Honestly, I'd probably be better here.
Go on. It's yours, right? Yeah. North Haven's the best, you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to go, you're gonna have to go to California and taste what you're gonna be selling?
I did, yes. Actually, I did my own fruit blended profiles, so my wines are specific to my brand.
Excellent.
And I currently have 2 brands right now. I have a white wine blend, which is a mix of a German Chardonnay, and I also have a Rosé. And Valentine's Day, I'm actually going to be launching a Cabernet. Yeah.
Great.
Any more
It's
questions?
delicious.
No question.
Okay, very good, young lady. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We welcome you to town.
Thank you.
Okay.
This was
You
easy.
put that, just put that on the desk. Okay, that's the last of the public hearings. Okay, that is,
Anybody want to say?
say again?
The public hearing, does anybody have anything to say about it?
We have that.
Yeah, see if anyone has anything to say.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah, you know. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this application? Oh, okay, Mary, come on, step up. I did slip on that. The excitement is too much.
Mary White Summerlane, and I just wanted to say I think it's a great idea, and I'm in support of it. I hope you approve it.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah, miss. Anyone else like to speak in favor? Anyone in opposition? Okay, now we're all set. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There were the site plans,
So you've closed that application?
that application is closed, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
We're not gonna deliberate on that one. Okay? All right, the site plan from, for P2422 for 475 Washington Avenue.
Sure, this is site plan P 24-22. site plan application of ALC Fleet Services Incorporated, applicant Classic Depot LLC, owner relative to 475 Washington Avenue, map 90, lot 15, plan entitled Land of Classic Depot LLC, 475 Washington Avenue, Town of North Haven, New Haven County, Connecticut, prepared by LRC Group, dated 6/3/21, scale 1 inch equals 30 feet, IL 30 zoning district.
Okay, thank you, Brian, thank you. The applicant, okay. Miss, you can leave if you'd like.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We are gonna vote
Yeah.
tonight, though.
We are gonna vote.
See, or?
Oh,
If you wanna wait.
You want to go, I'll wait.
Okay, good enough. Step forward.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Yuri Popovic. I'm the president and founder of ALC Freight, Inc. Our business is headquartered here at 475 Washington
Yuri,
Avenue.
I'm sorry,
Can't
could
hear
you
you
just
really.
spell both names, just to make sure they
Yes.
get it on the record correctly?
First name Y-U-R-I, last name P-O-P-O-V-I-C.
Thank you.
Thank you. If I go too fast, just slow me down. So as I was saying, our business has been domiciled here out of North Haven for the last 3.5 years. We are a FedEx Ground, or FedEx Express now, a transportation service provider. So we essentially provide services strictly for FedEx Express. You can think of us as a micro or a mini Penske or a Ryder, where all of our fleets are leased directly to FedEx Express. We're domiciled, like I said, here in North Haven, and all of our tractors that the company owns are throughout the state of Connecticut. So we have locations in Stratford, North Haven, Wallingford, Middletown, Willington, Connecticut, and South Windsor, Connecticut. ALC Freight Services, as I said, owns the fleet and does the services here in North Haven. And through its subsidiary ALC Fleet Services, we're requesting a certificate of approval for the proposed location for a general repairs license. I'm here to help answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Okay, how many vehicles are you gonna service?
So right now, the company already owns 20 tractors. In this facility particularly, it's only 2,600 square feet of actual service. There's 2 bays that are double deep. The bays are facing, if you're familiar with the Amazon building, they're facing the back side of the building. The front end is strictly cars for parking. There's only 3 or 4 slots there. But right now, we service, as I said, our own. So any day, given day, it's 1 to 2 tractors that we have in our facility right now.
And that you're doing now?
That's correct.
Is it gonna
Yes.
change with the way you're doing business now?
What's happened with our business is as we've procured and purchased newer equipment, 2024s and 2025s, our service reps have very little to do. So we're looking to offer similar services for FedEx Ground contractors as well in the area.
So you're planning on expanding the repairs that you're doing in this location?
Not expanding the repairs, but offering our service solutions, our preventative care services to other contractors in the area as well.
You'll be servicing vehicles that aren't.
Not
owned
vehicles,
by you.
tractors, correct.
Class A,
What's that?
what class?
Class 8,
8.
correct.
And outside parking?
Outside is front is strictly vehicle parking.
Yeah.
Tractors have to come out around the back of the building and enter the facility from the rear.
So it'll be in between you and the railroad tracks, and then,
So the building right now is situated where behind us, directly behind us, is a separate warehouse facility.
Okay.
That also, they have other tenants there, so they just circle around the back and enter the back of the building.
There'll be no outside storage here, is that
There is no outside storage allowed in that facility.
So would you be servicing trucks every day?
Yes.
You will be.
Yeah. So we could only fit 4. Now, what we're offering is, again, for other contractors that we locations at, are preventative care services, so they're scheduled, as well as federal annual inspections that are required by the DOT. So we're essentially our team, we have 2 mechanics that are providing the preventative care service, general repair service, and federal annual inspections that are required by the DOT to have.
Do you anticipate vehicles being towed in, saying broken down on the highway, they're gonna bring them into you to get fixed type of service, or like you said, just preventative scheduled?
So it's no different than when we have our own fleet towed in. But yeah, we would expect that. I can't tell you the frequency, but we have trucks that are towed in today into that location.
So really just continuing your services, but offering, wanting to maintain jobs in
Yes.
there in giving these additional services.
Correct.
Because to fill up the time that the good new vehicles don't need service. So,
Correct.
okay.
And we also already own 2 fleet vehicles of our own service vehicles, so we do most of our repairs already at the FedEx locations. Headlights, right, tail lights. So the preventative side is really scheduling these in for your splash, lube, brakes, and then for those federal inspections as well.
So you're seeking a repairer's license, but in fact, to non-motor vehicle people like some of us, you do a lot of maintenance on those vehicles. You keep the fleet running.
We keep our, that's correct. Right now, we have to keep our fleet running. We don't require it because we own them, our own fleet, repairer's license, but we're requesting approval by the town for a general repairer's license through the Connecticut Department of Motor Vehicles, so we could offer those services to other contractors as well.
So you need this approval before you go to the DMV?
That's correct.
My biggest concern, and maybe it's not a concern at all, is we talked about, you said no outside storage.
Yeah.
But how are we gonna monitor, I mean, your building is within other buildings. You're not the owner of that building, so there's a landlord that oversees you.
Correct, yeah.
So he would have to take control and make sure that you're, not disrupting your neighbors, so to speak.
Correct, yes.
There's somewhat of a unity with Uri as a tenant and the landlord, though. They are in lockstep, I would say.
I just don't want this to turn into a used truck lot, but to use that term.
No, and we're very well aware of the appeal that Washington Avenue has, which is why the garage doors are facing the Amazon building. Tractors have to come in through the back. They're not allowed, we can't even park them in the front if we wanted to. So they would be essentially in line with the bay, outside of view from folks driving along Washington Avenue.
Yeah, you're in the front building there, the
Yes.
building as you come around, and it's, but when I was down there, I think I saw a bay or a door that was labeled Classic Auto Depot down in the back.
That's the landlord's building.
That's a landlord's building?
Yes.
Okay, because, okay,
Yeah, that's classic cars
that's Classic Cars.
that they store their own personal cars in, yeah.
And your business is mainly a daily in and out, or
Yes.
just, yeah, taking your car to the service, or?
Well, again, just to clarify, we're not servicing.
No, I'm not
cars.
talking about cars
Yep.
in that respect, but if I were to take my car, I'd go in there and I'd wait for the car to be done and then.
Well, you would have to own a tractor.
Well, no, I'm saying,
But
for
if
the tractor.
There is a waiting area for you to wait if you want, yes. if you- yeah.
The tractors aren't gonna be there a couple of days, is what I'm
That's
saying, 'cause
correct,
that's
no,
where
yeah.
we get into possible outside storage problems.
Gotcha, yeah, no, yeah.
Well, there will be no outside storage.
There's no outside storage allowed.
Okay, is there any more questions from the commission?
No, he's satisfied.
No?
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our last public hearing is P 24-24. Ray Underwood, is he here?
Okay, let me.
You want to read that in? Go ahead.
Okay, this is a site plan, it's P 24-24. Site plan application of Ray Underwood applicant, JS LLC, owner relative to 315 Washington Avenue, map 85, lot 3, plan entitled, site plan for a redevelopment of an existing car wash, 315 Washington Avenue, North Haven, Connecticut, 06473, prepared by Civil Design Group LLC, dated 11/8/2024, scale 1 foot equals 20 feet, aisle 30, zoning district.
Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. For the record, my name is Phil Henry with Civil Design Group. We're the civil engineers for this project. The The site currently operates as an existing vehicle wash facility. It's located at 315 Washington Street. The site's just over 1 acre, and it is in the IL 30 zoning district. What I'll do is I'll give a brief overview of the refreshing of the site that we are proposing, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. Those of you that are familiar with the site, there's two site driveways that are going to remain untouched. There's an entrance only on the north side and an exit only on the south side. Currently, when you enter the site, you see a rather large building that's in the wash station itself on the left, and then an oil change station attached on the northerly side, which looks to the right as you're driving in. And then as you drive beyond that, there's another building here where they do specialty cleaning, detailing of automobiles. And then beyond that, there's some additional asphalt, and then the circulation of the queue lane for the wash station itself. What we're proposing to do is remove the oil change section of the building, so what's shown here in gray, and the detailing building, which is a standalone building to the rear. The building that's going to remain, or the section of the building that's going to remain, is what's shown here on sheet 3 as this outline of this unhatched area here. The site plan, the proposed site plan outlines the proposed changes that we are seeking approval for. The car wash the building that's shown here in gray hatch, that's the building that's proposed to remain, or the section of the building that's proposed to remain. The refreshing of the site includes a facade, a refreshment of the actual structure itself, landscaping improvements, sidewalk improvements, the introduction of 21 vacuums along the north side. We are going to be restriping the south side of the site with 4 employee spaces. And then the way folks would circulate the site is using the same existing driveways. The north driveway would be an entrance only. Folks would circulate in a left fashion around the site, go through the car wash and then exit, or go through the washing station and then turn left on this internal driveway, vacuum, and then head out. Overall, this site is a slight reduction of impervious area. The site will also include new site lighting and some landscaping improvements, as I had mentioned. We are in receipt of the comments from the planner and the engineer. I'm happy to review those, or if you guys want to react to, not all of them are very notable, but I'm happy to react to specific ones that you'd like us to talk about, but we're happy to incorporate all these.
If it's approved, it's going to be approved with those comments.
Yeah.
So, if
yeah.
you'd like to address them.
Phil, you talked about the traffic pattern. On the north side, I saw arrows going both ways when I looked at the drawing. Just on the side with the vacuums on it, did you have traffic arrows going both ways?
Yes, so the idea is when folks enter, they would stay to the right, and then this driveway is technically you can drive, west on the page or left on the page as well as right on the page. So when folks enter, they would stay to the right side of this driveway, circulate around, go through the car wash, and then folks could either leave, or they, for folks that want to vacuum their site, they turn left here, go back into that same driveway, pull into the space, exit, and then come back out.
Because right now, it's just one way on the north side of the building.
Yeah.
So you're going to have 2 lanes there?
Right.
See where you're going to have
Andy's comments, you talk about a bypass lane on your comments. Would that act as a bypass lane?
Yeah, I mean, that was something I wanted to talk about a little bit. I think when we met earlier, you had mentioned that you're going to have people out to assist at the kiosk where they would pay and that kind of thing. Normally the commission would be looking for a full bypass lane. In other words, a lane specifically dedicated just for bypass. But the reason I put the comment down was because of the discussion that we had previously about the fact that you're going to have personnel that are stationed out there. And we've had other applications that are similar in that way, and the commission has seen to approve those. So I just want to kind of have you describe a little bit about how that would work. You know, how if somebody pulls up into one of those lanes and, you know, they have an emergency and they've got to get out, how exactly would that work?
Yes.
With a bypass lane, you could just pull off in the bypass lane, you're gone, you know? I don't know that it works necessarily as well here, but maybe it's an operational thing, so that's why I brought the comment up.
Yes, so we've done, I would say, 6 or 7 of these sites in this state for Russell Speeders, and I would, believe it or not, this is one of the larger sites that we've had to work with. So with regards to, and none of them had a true bypass lane, so to speak, because of the built-in employees that will be on site attending the folks at the pay station, which is located here. However, on this site, when you get to about this area, okay, which can probably house just shy of 20 cars with the double lane, we actually have an area where we've striked out where the existing dumpster is located, where folks can actually bypass and exit here. However, if they need to get out in an emergency or require attention, the attendant is expected to assist those folks to get them out on this southerly striped area here. But believe it or not, this site actually has more room than we're actually used to dealing with. So in combination with the extra area that is available to us, plus the attendance, you know, we think this is sort of a standard operating procedure.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't really have a problem with the layout, and I can see how it would work, but I wanted to make sure that you explain that to the commission, because that's been a commission concern in the past, so.
Is there, Andy, is there a breakout area where they can get out of that, when they're in the flow?
Yeah, that's kind of what he's describing.
Kind of like a Burger King has a breakout area in one
Right,
area.
the bypass lanes that we normally require.
It will work?
If you notice on the plan, they've got that crosshatch area.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be curbs or anything there, so if somebody
Right, so
really
that's why you
needed to, they could jump out into that crosshatch
Okay.
area and pass. Plus, he's
Okay, I
also got,
understand.
similar to Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
he's gonna have personnel that are stationed out at that kiosk. So, you know, Chick-fil-A did not have a bypass lane, and that was an issue that we went through quite a bit on. But because they had personnel that were out in the lanes walking around with people, if there was a problem, they had somebody available to help.
Right.
And I think a similar situation
And
here.
then I'll also add, downstream of this point where my hand is where the pay station is, there is actually a true bypass lane for the site. On this southerly side of the site, there's access. It's actually, you wouldn't know where the property line is with the abutters.
I think it's a
south.
pretty big area that you're working
It's
in right
a
there.
large area.
It kind of flows together.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand.
So
yeah.
you have 2 lanes going into the car wash, the existing car wash right now in that building. What's the customer do? They get out of the car?
No, they stay in the car.
Okay, so it's
on a
going to
track.
change, you're not going to have the waiting room inside anymore?
You stay in the car and you're on the track.
Okay.
In all due respect to the Speeders business plan and the anticipation of a growing business, but we just don't get as many car wash customers at peak time as you might get at Dunkin' Donuts backing up on a Saturday morning at 8:15.
Or they're not getting their car washed on the way home from Amazon. Right, so it's not peak.
You'd think not, so.
But is now I know it's an existing car wash, and so we've got drainage situation. On the exit, is there going to be any improvements to what's existing now? As far as this time of the year, as they come out onto Washington Avenue, they create that ice rink at the exit. Is there any additional drainage, provided for the vehicles prior to entering?
We're not proposing any drainage at the entrance. We are providing a few yard drains or yard drain in the landscaped areas. But I believe on the grading plan, there's actually a low point here. So I think while inevitably, when you leave the site in March or February, I'll call it the drip of the car as it leaves will leave a trail out here. I think the majority of any runoff is going to get into that catch basin.
So there's no plans on changing any of the?
No, and I didn't see a need to put like a trench drain at the entrance here, because folks, because the existing grade is too steep that, water's going to just run off the site. I didn't see that.
So you're
We
gonna-
have done that in some cases.
You're going to demo the detailing building?
Yes.
So that's where you're going to have room there, so. No,
My comment D regarding the details on the canopy, is it a hard shell, is it framed, or is it a fabric canopy proposed?
We actually have some folks here from Russell Speeders. Is it a steel frame with wrapped fabric?
TC now is with
Want to step ahead here and give Shane?
TC Nallis with Russell Speeders, agent. Yes, the steel, it's an aluminum post structure with like a stretched canvas top to it. The one that's existing now is more of, has like a wood pole structure to it, with like a plastic top. We would be proposing to change that.
And the exit, they have a canopy now, a cloth canopy, you know, do something
As a
like that.
canopy now, we've removed that. It would become still like a cantilever canopy, but we have a steel canopy.
Okay.
Could you spell your last name for the record?
Nales.
Thanks.
And your first name, please, I didn't.
Thomas.
What did you say?
Thomas.
Thomas. Thank you.
I have one more question just regarding the islands. I guess when we looked at this preliminarily, I don't think the employee parking was there. Can you accommodate an island on each end?
Yeah, we noticed that comment. There's a striped.
Yes, on the east side, there's a striped
Yeah,
island.
there's a striped island here. I think we can create this or make this be a curved landscape island. We tend to stay away from what I'll call like isolated islands in a sea of parking, just from a plowing perspective. We don't want to plow, if there's 6 inches of snow on the ground, the plow to just run and hit it. However, should the commission want this landscape island, we can certainly put it in, and then that could also house like a stop sign or something that would obviously stick above any snow.
I certainly understand your concerns with that. I don't want to turn it back to the commission because I want to tell you that it is a requirement of the regulations, so it's not something that they have latitude over per se. So if they need that with the 2-inch caliper tree in it.
It's got to be
And
there.
If you had to eliminate one of the spaces to get an island on the other side, we need all ends of rows of parking to have a landscape island, minimum 8 feet wide, with one minimum 2-inch caliper tree.
Understood. Yeah, so well, the
You
short
can do
answer
it.
is yes, we can do it.
Yeah.
So there's only 4 employee parking spots?
Typically, there's 2 to 4 employees per shift.
Okay.
Any more questions from the commission? Gentlemen, you okay?
I got one question.
Sure, by all means.
Regarding the dumpster location, if both of, are those two lanes to the left of it, if those are queued up with cars, does it prevent the hatched area from being a bypass lane?
This hatched area?
Yeah, well, we talked about using that as the bypass area.
No, I
With the
don't-
dumpster there, moving it to the left? I'm just thinking if, the Chick-fil-A example, you go there and it's packed with cars, how can you get
Yeah,
out, right? But-
We can explore moving this dumpster further south a little bit.
Yeah.
And then just widening that striped area to
Yeah,
maybe.
just
to
something
give it
like
2 more
that.
feet, which would be 10 feet at that point.
We also never retract dumpster and operating hours.
Yeah, so then.
Sir, you want to speak on it?
Well, I guess with respect to the dumpster, I think there was another comment, maybe.
About access to the dumpster.
Access to the dumpster.
Because that's a one-way drive coming through
It's a one,
there.
yeah, it's a one-way
Truck would have to
drive. Yeah, so our understanding, this is where the existing dumpster is located and it's facing. So when we try to go through these refreshments, if if things are operational the way it is, we tend to try to keep it that way. We understand that on paper, this is a one-way going east. However, it's my understanding that the dumpster, they will have contractual ownership or responsibility of when they can arrive. It's my understanding that the dumpster will arrive before this car wash opens. So we think that these folks can actually go down the opposite way of the one-way, back up and then go out. We try to tend to get the trucks away from the circulation of the cars, believe it or not, because we don't want them interacting with the pay station or hitting the clearance bars or the signage, because those are bigger vehicles. So we try to bring that away from the whole site.
Sure, no, and that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
And I think your explanation about doing that in off hours, I think is a good explanation.
Okay.
That explains how that works.
I guess my last part is just, as I'm always looking forward for things, and I appreciate your, lack of trying to change things if they're in place, I'd like any opportunity for additional beautification or landscaping and things like that, I think enhances things in North Haven tremendously, as well as your own site, right? Less of pure pavement type of industrial look, I think, enhances all businesses and the flavor of North Haven. So if there's any opportunities for additional landscaping, that would be the comment that I'd like to see any improvement on. Just our value of that may exceed yours, but I want you to know at least how I feel and thinking those are positive things that I think affect all of us, including yourself. So
We actually have some slides, photos of existing car washes now proposed at our Bloomfield and Danbury locations. So you can kind of get a sense of what was there before and then,
picture in the bottom of
how the rehab process looks afterwards. With all our architectural guidelines for code and everything. But this just kind of gives you a little bit of a flavor of what our work is.
excellent. That's what it's just, these are our one opportunities. You guys will be here for a long time. I'm looking forward to your business being successful and, bringing customers. And I think those coincide together. And, obviously other towns are feeling the same way because you're, doing the same type of work. So I appreciate the quality.
Did you buy this
Excuse me,
property?
sir. Please, may I have your name? You speak.
Reed Taylor, R-E-E-D-T-A-Y-L-R.
Is this a purchase or a lease, the property?
This will be a lease property. So the rest is the
Long
current
term?
landlord, he's the current operator. He
My
also
writing is
owns two tunnel washes and a self-serve up in
Wallingford, yeah.
Wallingford. And so we're gonna lease this one, he'll maintain, being the landlord, and then we'll operate the site.
Long term?
Long term, I think it's a 30-year lease with some extensions.
Okay.
So we plan to be in here for a very long time.
Good enough.
I'd just like to comment that I really enjoy hearing you folks speak, as Ken did, about the curb appeal of some of these sites. And I'd just like to go back to some, we had a meeting, a Teams meeting, an e-meeting to prepare for this. And we mentioned Paul Wyman's comments about edible arrangements and all of the commission's concern that no matter what we do, can we make it look a little sharper? We're proud of our town. We all go up and down Route 5. It's an important part of the town. And I think for the commission to establish that you're not just going to permit something that roughly complies with the regs good enough, that you want something better. I appreciate that. I can tell them that, and Andy can tell them that, and we can get some of these improvements on the basis of your having set a precedent that your standards are a little higher. We appreciate you folks coming in with this, and I appreciate the comments of the commission.
You're not the first. We've been trying to do this for a while, to try to make it look pretty.
We're proud of the town. We all live in the town. And we have cherry trees that blossom certain times of the year, and it's beautiful driving on the street. So we're kind of proud of it. And if you could help us.
Now we need the
with that.
before and the after to have of your site,
Yeah, we need the after to be better than the before.
Storage Connecticut company. The company was founded in Norwalk, Connecticut in the 1960s. And we're up to 60 locations operating across the country now. But our roots are in the state, and we like making the investment and beautifying the communities across the state.
We appreciate it.
Great.
Okay, very good. You all set, gentlemen?
My last comment had to do with wayfaring signs. And I just want to make sure that, I mean, one of the concerns they had was you got a two-way traffic coming where the vacuums are. How do people know how to get out, Yeah. People might logically want to just continue the same path that they were going, which would put it to the drive-through.
Yeah, so,
just a little more in terms of wayfaring, just so that it makes it clearer for people as to how they have to traverse the site.
yeah, so we could take another look at sort of adding, I'll call like directional signage, MUTCD, directional signage. However, Russell Speeders adds another layer of signage when they come back with their sign package.
Okay.
Entrance, exits, they'll have some freestanding signs saying, enter this way, vacuums this way. So that's not shown on this plan, but we can certainly add that as the conditional approval.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, Alan, you got that? We were just saying, add that on there. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a change of use. We have somebody from 117 Washington Avenue. Anyone?
I don't see the gentleman here. We had somewhat of a communication issue where he arrived this morning at about 7:30 for the meeting. We had kind of an AM, PM problem. So what I'd just like to do, if it's okay, is speak on his behalf here. He would like to establish a pharmacy at the North Haven Shopping Center, 117 Washington Avenue. Those of us who have been here possibly too long realize that Forest Grove Pharmacy was right about where he wants to establish his pharmacy. It's a retail use. The use is permitted in the zone. The only issue is it had been converted to a dance studio, and that means he's a change of use. So if you could find it in your hearts to approve this one in absentia, that would be wonderful.
Will there be a soda fountain?
I don't think so.
Okay.
but-
What is that?
Okay, that's, are you guys good over there? Okay, we, back on the other side here, see where we're at. The wine, and a motion to go into deliberation.
I'll make a motion to go into deliberation.
And a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're now in deliberation. P2423S, a special permit for the wine. The lady is waiting here. I'd like to get a motion to approve her want to.
I'll make a motion
special
to approve.
permit, a special permit for the site. A motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, Ken made a motion, can I have a second? And Paul made a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, mister, now you can leave.
Good night. You too.
Okay. That's wrong. Okay, on to P2422, the site plan for 475 Washington Avenue with no outside storage. Is there anything else to add to this, Alan?
No, I don't think so. We had, Andy had no comments, and we're just looking for the application number put on the drawing, and I
Could we
think,
have something specific to repairs within the garage as opposed to out in front of? Is that worthwhile, or?
I think that is what they are required to do regardless. So in terms of their zoning approval, again, they have no outdoor storage. The applicant was very clear about that. We have had no complaints about the property whatsoever.
That's true, that's very.
So I suspect we're okay without any particular note.
Okay, where are we now? We're at with no outside storage here, and nothing
That's
to add on.
correct. There is no
Okay,
outside
a motion to
storage.
approve the application without any outside storage
I'll make a
whatsoever.
motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that carries, all right, that's good. Now we go down to 24, to P2424. It is the application we just looked at about the car wash, and we had that out pretty well. Can I get a motion to approve that as been stated?
I'll make a motion to approve
Okay.
15 Washington Avenue, we discussed it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
That's with all the comments.
I'm sorry?
That's with all the comments.
With all the comments. Everything goes with the comments. I stated that earlier.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's good. That takes care of that. Okay, on the 117 Washington Avenue, change of use for the drugstore or pharmacy, whatever you might want to call it. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Who
okay.
had the second on that? I'm sorry.
Ken Quick.
Ken.
Quick, okay. Thank you.
Okay, and the correspondence, well, you handle that. The minutes for November 12th, 2024. Who was here on that date? Everybody? You were here? Okay.
I say we can accept the minutes.
Yeah, okay, good enough. Okay, so I just want to, make a motion to accept it. You
Make a
did?
motion to accept the
Okay,
minutes.
good enough. I have a motion to accept, and second?
Anyone but Brian?
Okay, Ken seconds.
No,
Okay.
it's Rod.
Huh?
Rod.
Oh, Rod, I'm sorry.
This here. Open
I can't vote.
For an op-
Open space, no, we gotta talk about that.
I'm going to abstain.
Hold on.
No, we're good. So they're voting 4-0.
Yeah. Got it?
Yep.
Okay,
Now,
Okay,
Bert,
that's
we
the
just
minutes.
had one
Okay.
item you sort of skipped over.
yep.
Yeah.
Now, you wanna,
Yeah, I'll do that again.
okay,
I'll make a motion to have Brian Cummings as our
okay, I have a
open
motion.
space
to put-
representative.
I have a motion to put Brian Cummings on open space representative. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, congratulations, Brian. Okay, you are now back on that. Okay, is there anything else to come before the commission?
I don't think so, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make
A
that.
motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Oh, can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, 10 seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, folks.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.